This video was selected for release this month by my doll faces and pop tarts over on Patreon. Much love to you as always. Hello, my little cherry gumdrops. Welcome to the first month of the year of our Dark Lord 2025. Are you looking for a little bit of a refresh in the witchcraft department? Not necessarily because it's the start of a brand new year, okay? You don't have to go into all that. You don't have to buy into it if you don't want to. But just per chance, whenever you happen to be watching this and whatever mood you're in, would you like to shake things up a little bit in your witchcraft practice? Are you trying to think of some different things to do? Do you want some new ideas? Would you like some fresh blood, preferably not literal, in your witchcraft practice? You've come to the right place. I'm going to give you 10 different ideas today. I'm really excited that the patrons chose this one because I feel like I need a little bit of a refresh myself. So it was really nice putting some little notes together for this and getting into the zone, thinking about how to freshen up the witchcraft practice, get things feeling a little bit new, a little bit different. Let's figure out what we can do and let me know down in the comments, how many of these do you want to take on and try? How many of these do you think you're ready for in your practice? What inspired you from this list of 10 things? And as always, share your own ideas down below. Let me know how you're shaking things up as well. Okay, let's get into it, my fellow sorcerers. Let's do this. Sometimes it's good to combine refreshing the witchcraft with refreshing your life. So if your practice needs a little kick in the knickers, it might be possible that your life does as well. And that includes your lifestyle, that includes your routines and habits, okay? So suggestion number one, kick a bad habit using magic. I actually made a video about this that I will leave linked in the down bar for you about breaking bad habits using witchcraft. So if you need a little bit of a suggestion on what kinds of ideas, what kinds of techniques you can go and use that video. But I think that magic can be very underrated and very underestimated when it comes to how much of an effective tool it can be at helping you get rid of a habit that has been bothering you for a while. It's messing with your life. It's messing with your energy, with your time. It could be anything. It could be phone addiction. It could be overconsumption. It could be nail biting. It could be oversharing. It could be procrastination. If you know there's a bad habit hanging around and it's been bothering you, now is the time to commit to throwing some witchcraft at the problem and seeing how much that can help. And if particularly you can think of a bad habit that's been bothering you that you've never used magic for, guys, this is your moment. Trust your sorcery. Bring it into the mix when it comes to dealing with that bad habit. If you have ever read my first book, Rebel Witch, Carve the Craft That's Yours Alone, you will know that in that book, I suggest selecting sacred texts that are meaningful to you, that you feel great affection for, or even just texts that you're interested in or you choose at random and making them sacred. In this book, I say that the Bible is a sacred text for Christians, the Quran for Muslims, and the Torah for Jews. But you get to choose whatever sacred text you want. You can do divination with them. You can do daily contemplation with them. You can annotate the shit out of them. You can keep them by your bedside. You can think about the different interpretations and meanings and the different things that the characters are teaching you. You can do astral journeys to the locations in the book that you choose as a sacred text, okay? One of my sacred texts that I've had for years now, guys, is 100 artist manifestos from the futurist to the stuckist. Every time I open this book, it's like I'm getting guidance from the cosmos, okay? I'm just going to open it at a random page. Okay, here we go. Don't be subject to the influence of out-of-date concepts. Forget hours, seconds, and minutes. Accept instability. Live in time. Be static with movement. Okay, artist manifestos are serious shit. If you have never gotten high on artist manifestos, might I recommend? But you can use anything. You can use like books of quotes and music and lyrics. You can use poetry. You can use short stories. You can use books of art and photography. Select some sacred texts, okay? And decide that they're going to be your sacred text for like the whole year or just 1/4 of the year or even just one moon phase. And imagine that that text that you're using, it is your Bible for that time. See how much depth and interest and exploration you can get out of that, guys. I'm telling you, for you, a sacred text can be anything, okay? If you are a freewheeling mystic, if you are a chaos witch, if you are any description of fancy, far-out cosmic sorcerer, you get to choose your sacred text. So which one is it going to be? Or is it going to be a stack of them? Let me know down below. Are you selecting fresh sacred texts? And what are they doing for you? Talk to me. Make your own divination system. This is a really good way to refresh your practice. I know a lot of people, a lot of witches collect stones and write sigils on the stones and use them as their own unique runic system, if you will. You know, it's just another way of utilizing stones and throwing them and getting sigils and symbols and reading them. I know a lot of people have made their own tarot or oracle deck. I personally made my own oracle deck many moons ago and I still use it now. Okay, I'll show you some of the cards. Control, black and white, amphibian, powder. And I'm actually going to do an afterthoughts video, guys, for my patrons among you, for my doll faces and pop tarts. I'm going to be doing a 3-card pick a card video using my self-made oracle deck. So if you want to see more of these cards and you're not a member of my Patreon, you're not a member of my Patreon. Oh, fledgling, and it flew. It was a jumper. Go over to my Patreon. I'm going to do a pick a card video, and I hardly ever do them. I have never done one of them, so it's going to be a first. But yes, this was made by me. I lovingly made it. I collaged it. And I absolutely love it. I still do readings with it. So if it's time for you to make an oracle deck, you can even just grab a tarot deck that you don't use anymore, that's tired or old, or that you don't know anybody that wants it, and just paper over it. Just do your own oracle deck, you know? You can use any form of divination. You can go as wild and far out as you want, but I think making your own system is very exciting, very decadent use of time, and you feel such intimacy with it when you made it yourself. Number 4, this is a good idea for refreshing your witchcraft and just kind of like remixing your practice a little bit, okay? Reassess your relationship with the objects that you use. Spend some time with them individually one-on-one. Give them an individual cleansing if you want to. Speak to them separately from the rest of the objects on your altar, the rest of the things that you own, and check in with how you feel about the object and try talking to the object, you know, really read into the energy of the object and have a conversation with it. Ask it, how does it want to be used? Ask yourself if you want to utilize the object more. Ask yourself how you feel about the timeline of your journey with the object. Hold it in your hands, you know, assess your relationship with it. This is sometimes difficult to do because in the process of doing this, some practitioners realize that there are certain objects that aren't meant for them anymore. There are certain crystals or cards or tools, etc., that need a new home, or they maybe even need to be repurposed for something else. And that can have a difficult emotional feeling that accompanies it. But it can also be incredibly refreshing when you know that your relationship with some of the objects you used to use a lot has grown static or it's grown unsure. The best thing to do is to just have a little assessment of like, what is in your toolkit, what's in your drawers, what's on your altar, what have you been using for a while that you want to change up or even fall back in love with and get back into using again. This can really solve the problem of overconsumption that some witches have, where they feel like they need new things, and it can also help you discover a few things that were like at the bottom of your witchy drawers or in a box somewhere. You may not know that you have black candles, okay, and you might actually have some left. You may not even remember that you had that certain deck that's just been stuck at the back of the shelf forever. So it's also a really good way to feel like you went shopping without going shopping, because I think a lot of us do have objects and tools and stuff that we bought for the craft that we forgot all about. So go discovering the things that are gathering dust as well. Number 5, this one is a very firm favorite for me, okay, and it's going to be very good for all of my mystical magpies out there, those witches amongst you that often bog yourself down with various different plans of what you want to do, what you want to research, what you want to practice, what you want to read about, what you want to get into more. I know that some people just completely over fucking fill their plate and they have a million things that they want to study and a million things they want to learn. If that's you, design a witchy curriculum. You can go moon phase by moon phase, you can go month by month, calendar month, you can go quarter by quarter. There are 4 quarters in the year of 3 months each. So you can do it in any way that you want to, but it really helps you to decide that actually there are segments of time where you're going to complete modules in the things that you want to study. So instead of at the beginning of a year, for example, which I know is when a lot of people in general get very gung-ho about what they want to learn, if at this beginning of 2025, you're like, I want to do astrology, I want to do herbalism, I want to re-pick up runes, I want to do this, I want to learn about this pantheon, I want to read this, your to-be-read list is bigger than, you know, your height or whatever. Try to put it all into a curriculum. And if you can't figure out the entire year's curriculum, just literally decide what you want to do for the next month or the next moon phase or just the first quarter. Try to make it no more than 3 main subjects, okay? And try to cut your to-be-read list down into just what you're doing for that curriculum. And it can really help you to get focused in what you're studying in your witchcraft, and it helps you to not get that mystical magpie syndrome that I also write about in Rebel Witch, where I'm talking about people that just overstuff their plate. They've got a lot of different plans. They always feel bad, like they're not doing enough in their witchcraft. We want to avoid that shit, okay? So decide on your witchy curriculum, create your modules, and get excited about the different stretches of time that you're going to be focusing on different things. And then it's less likely that your mind will go wandering and that you'll start worrying about the things you're not studying, because you know, oh, I'm only studying this for a month and then I'm going to move on to astrology, or then I'm going to move on to Celtic, mythology, or whatever it is. So you've kind of got a decent timeline for when things are going to stop and start, which makes you a little bit less ants in your pants about starting more and more research projects or practices. One good way that you might want to refresh your witchcraft is to dare to share. Join community, speak up a little bit more, get more involved. If you want to start a channel, or you want to start an Instagram, or you want to start a podcast, or you want to join a Discord, maybe now's the time to do that. If you want to see what's around in your area, what the pagans and witches in your area are doing, maybe now's the time to do that. Maybe now is the time to join that online coven, or that witchy book club, or that Patreon that you've been wanting to join. There are lots of different ways that you can hobnob with other mystics, sorcerers, and witches. So if you're starting to feel a little bit isolated, or you feel like you would like to have some different experiences with different spiritual people, maybe now is the time. Maybe you even want to think about going away on some kind of retreat, or joining some kind of study group, whatever it happens to be that's going to put you in touch with others. You do not have to join a coven necessarily to get a lot out of witchy community. And even if you know you've just been a lurker for quite a long time and you actually want to dare to put your hand up and say something, maybe now's the time to find the boldness and the little bit of bravery that you need to do that, and see how it enriches your craft. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling about witchy community. Have you had some difficult experiences, but now you want to bounce back into it? Are you a part of a really strong witchy community now and you're really happy with that? Do you feel like you've always had great experiences with online or real world community, and maybe you want to join a coven, or maybe you're thinking about a leadership position for yourself? Maybe you want to put your voice out there a little bit more and gather a community around your ideas. Let me know. Okay, it's time for number 7. Rededicate yourself to your path. Maybe it's been a while since you took vows, or made a commitment, or wrote a mission statement or a manifesto for your witchcraft. Maybe it's been a while since you sat with a candle and the mirror and just looked at yourself and said, I am a witch. These are my commitments. This is what I believe. These are the gods I'm dedicated to, or whatever it happens to be. If you know that you've been slacking on your practice, or you've been slacking on maybe your activism in alignment with witchcraft, or just your behaviors and habits in alignment with witchcraft, remake those commitments. It's really awesome to make strong commitments at the beginning of a calendar year, but I know that's not right for everybody. But look, this is evergreen insight and evergreen assistance that I'm giving. Whenever you're watching this video, whatever mood you happen to be in, it's likely that you're interested in some ways of refreshing your practice. And so ask yourself, has it been a while since you kind of really rededicated or kind of affirmed for yourself your commitments? Maybe you want to do a ritual around that, just so it feels special and it feels like you've come back to your commitments and your identity as a practitioner. And in particular, if you've been through some kind of transformation since the last time you did any real kind of vows or commitment or kind of honoring of your path, it might be a really good time to do that now, so that you can also affirm the changes that you've been through and come to the practice anew as the version of yourself that you are now. Number 8, is it time for you to possibly consider switching up your aesthetics? Do you want different colors? Do you want a different vibe? If you've been maximalist for quite a while in your style for your altar or your book of mirrors or whatever, do you want to go to minimalist, or vice versa? Can you think about a different color palette, or just a different vibe, or maybe a different part of your personality that you want to bring to the front in the aesthetics for your witchcraft? And I'm not talking about making everything IG ready and beautiful and flawless and like magazine aesthetic. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about really your personal and deep relationship with the aesthetics that you have in your witchcraft, in the way that you practice, in what you've got set up astrally, or what you've got set up in your witchy journals or your altar or whatever, or even the clothes that you wear or the accessories that you wear while you're doing magic and ritual. Anything like that, is it time to change it up? Are you feeling like you want a bit of new inspiration, or you want to try going out of the box with what you you usually aesthetically tend to favor. I can personally tell a great deal about myself, I think, by how I want to change my aesthetics up in witchcraft. Sometimes I want it fucking loud, I want it girly, I want my disco ball, I want my pink flowers, I want lots of different imagery that is very connected to certain aspects of me that like the glitter and like the frills and like the flowers and like the loud shit. And sometimes it's a lot darker and it's a lot more gritty, and it can be a little bit more goth, or it can be just a little bit more sinister imagery of some kind, or more sad imagery. There are certain times that I want certain photographs or paintings on the altar, and sometimes I want other things. I think it's really interesting how cluttered I want my altar, how cleared off or simplistic I want my altar. What tools do I want in the foreground, background? What tools do I want wrapped up and put away because I'm not vibing with them at the minute? And just in general, how do I want to feel? You know, I'm starting a new arty book of mirrors this year, and I'm really excited to see how that goes aesthetically. I am going to be sharing some of the pages, I think. So I'm very interested also to be able to show you guys my journey and get some feedback from you on how your aesthetic journey has been going too. So yeah, let's keep ourselves updated and connected on that, because I do find that a very, very interesting process. Number 9, do some self-honoring. Please, please, if you know that you want to refresh your witchcraft, if you feel like you're in a bit of a funk as a sorcerer, start by doing some self-honoring, okay? Do some self-deification, do a shrine of selfhood, write a manifesto of selfhood, really think about your entire timeline, who you are, where you've been, what you've achieved, what is special and wondrous about you. Put the spotlight on that, you know, really put the lens over that and zoom in and make it so that you are self-deifying. You are seeing in what ways you are truly the central deity of your reality. Honor yourself, praise yourself, do ritual around how strong you are, how wonderful you are, how interesting you are, whatever it happens to be. I know that for some people this is going to sound like so schmaltzy and so like ew, and you're going to be clicking off, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. All right, I'm a self-love bitch. You know I am. And you know I've spoken loads about that on the channel. And I just think it's really, really, really so powerful and important that we honor our own journeys. And what could be a better time to do that than in our ritual in witchcraft and in our readings that we do as a part of our witchcraft. And with everything that we put our time and energy into with witchcraft, let our love for ourselves, or at least our respect and our acceptance for ourselves, be at the center of it. And especially if you don't always feel respected or accepted by wider society or by some of the people in your life, it's really important that you go extra hard and put a lot of fucking special sauce on your own self-love and self-honoring in your witchcraft. Think of things to do and do them. Please do the poppet work, do the ritual, do all of it. Make the shrine for yourself, all of it. Please do it now. My 10th and final tip for refreshing your witchcraft practice and just like putting a little bit of energy into your sorcery is to figure out how you want to witch as an activist and how you want to witch for justice. What is bothering you about this planet? What are you worried about? What do you want to put some energy and attention and focus into? And how can you make it witchy? How can you make your devotions divine by blessing them? How can you figure out ritual around the things that you want to send healing and power towards in terms of causes and organizations and groups of people that are going through things right now that you fundamentally disagree with and you want to see change? How can you use witchcraft to help you be brave enough to do your shadow work around the systems that you're a part of, and also to help you to be brave enough to maybe do things like, you know, petitioning and using your voice and spreading awareness and protesting? Darlings, in my new book, Witch in Darkness, Magic for Tough Times, Bad Days and Moments of Total Catastrophe, chapter 17 is called World in Darkness, and I'm writing all about witchcraft for activism and making change. There is a reading at the end of this chapter, okay, for your tarot or oracle cards, and it is called The Reading to Witch for Justice. There are 6 spread positions. I'm going to leave them for you in the down bar below, and they will really help you to figure out whereabouts you want to place your potency when it comes to activism and making change and being involved with more collective struggle and effort. So if you really want to do that, I will leave the 6 spread positions down below. And don't forget, if you don't own the book yet, you can grab it from any reputable bookstore. Another thing, if you want to make some change and you want to make some impact when it comes to Palestine, I know that's something that's on a lot of people's hearts and minds right now. The Witches for Palestine raffle is still open. You can still donate. The instructions are very clear and simple. I will leave them down below, and you could win a reading with me. Yes, you could win a 60-minute reading with yours truly, and I will spread cards out for you, and we will figure out what is going on with you. And at the same time, you get to give some money to the amazing organization Witches to Gaza. So, you know, you can't say fairer than that. Everybody wins.
Fair play, it's fucking good.
Darlings, I hope this video has acted as a little bit of an inspiration station for you if you've been wanting to refresh your witchcraft and shake things up with your sorcery in some way. You know, I'm always here to just help spread a little bit of love and create a safe space for us to discuss what is going on with our practices, what we want to do better, and what we want to experience more of. So, as always, I just hope my channel is useful and that it's a friendly face giving out ideas that could help in some way. Thank you to my patrons for voting for this video. And if you are a patron of mine, you will have already seen this video because patrons receive early drops every single month, Discord access, and so much other stuff. You can go down and join my Patreon and be a part of it. And you know where the online store is as well if you would like to book in for a reading, spiritual counselling session with me, or anything else that I've got going on. So much love, my darlings. You make me happier than a bird with a fucking French fry. Blessed be until next time. Mwah.